All right, here is the speed run of the Excel Esports case, the King's Gambit. It involves parsing chess moves. So I'm going to start with a little Lambda that will parse a chess move, right? So let's say the color was W for white, and that was the move. The first character, the piece, no piece, start, end, and then castle, and then the parsed output, right? So the first character is that, and then the piece is if exact this and upper this, right? So if it's an uppercase letter, then the piece is just this. Otherwise, it's a pawn, right? By default, by implicit, it's an implicit pawn. That close goes there. Then I need without the piece. So if the piece was a pawn, it's implicit. So just include the original one. Otherwise, we got to get rid of the first character. So mid, second, 99. Then the start end is the text split of this, and it can be either a hyphen or an X for a capture, right? And then the castle, we're going to make a table for, right? There's a little castle cheat sheet here, which is helpful. Make the table, like this. So what do we got? If we got white 0, 0, white 0, 0, 0 is the queen side and king side. Black 0, 0, black 0, 0, 0. And then this to from is all written here, right? And we're just doing the king for now. We'll go back and worry about the rook later. E1 to C1. E8 to G8, and then E8 to C8. Right? So the castle then is XLOOKUP of the color and the move on here, returning on both of these. And if it's missing, give me a two-piece array there, empty array. Okay, so then the output is if the first character is the string 0, then use the castle. Otherwise, use the start end. And then that we'll H stack with the piece that's getting moved, because that's important too. Right, so now I got 3, right? In G1 to F3 becomes in G1 to F3. Not super complicated. All right. Mark as input cells, and then this is save lambda as. I'm using OA robot here. See the links in the description for more about, lambdas, OA robot, that type of stuff. Parsed, it's called parsed. All right, so now I'm going to start dealing with these moves, right? So wrap rows of this by 2, separate the black and white moves. And then I need the nth white move. So here are the white moves, and the nth white move I'll do with index like that. Now I'm going to use my pars. In this case, it doesn't matter, but let's assume that it's white. And then the answer is just that. All right, now I need to build the starting board, right? Which I could clear the copy area, right? And then I'm going to put the starting board here. So the white, it's upside down, right? Which makes it a little confusing, but the white goes in 1 and 2 like this. So white in that. And then the black pieces, which is B, and these go in 7 and 8. And then we'll call this thing the board. And now I can use my address lookup Lambda, which is basically just like indirect but non-volatile. So I look up the correct piece there. Now for level 4, this is a combination of level 1 and 2, right? So I take my formula for level 1, and I take my pars formula from level 2, right? So this is white from 2, this is black from 2, this is white, this is black. So now this right here is pars for black, this move. And I'm going to have to track one piece, right? For almost all of these. Oh, and I got to make a guide here for how long. How long does this need to be? 110 is enough. Half of the length of this, right? Half of the length of the half moves. All right, so from I to N all the way down to the bottom of that. Something went wrong here. Yeah, because it's supposed to be from here. All right, that looks all good. So now I got to track one piece. So in this case, I'm tracking a white piece. So these two columns I'm going to use to track white piece. In this case, it's going to be the white queen, WQ. So where does the white queen start? Well, let's make a little lookup table for that. So X2 call board, and I'm not going to show addresses, and I'm not going to clean it either because I want the zeros. Or yes, I am going to show addresses, and I'm not going to clean it. Now I've got the lookup table I want. So XLOOKUP, the name of the piece, on the piece names, returning on the address. So that's where it starts at the first part of the move. I mean, there's no move yet, so it's here. So now for the first part of the move, white is moving. So if white moves from the piece I'm tracking, you know what? Hold on one second, just to make this look a little prettier. I'm gonna lowercase it. Now, if white moves from the piece that we're tracking, then it ends up at the 2. Otherwise, doesn't matter, it just stays in the same place. Now black gets to move. The only thing black can do is capture it. So if black moves to where my white piece is, then it is captured. Otherwise, it stays in the same place. And that's it. I've now tracked this piece for the entire game, which is going to be basically like all the levels for this. Copy this down to the bottom. Right, so now I need to find like the last thing. So I'm going to use X2 call of all of this. Right, I do not want the addresses. I do not want to clean it. I want to reverse it. So arrow up to reverse it. And now I'm going to filter out the capture because it doesn't matter for this, right? So filter this where this is not equal to capture. And then the square where the track piece ends up is there at the top, right? Because I reversed it and got rid of the capture. All right, now I'm going to track a black queen instead of a white queen. So black, I'm going to make 2 more columns for tracking a black piece because it's affected a little bit different by the half moves, right? So track black piece, in this case, the black queen, right? So this works the same, except this got to stay locked. All right, this is nothing, that's just the same. Now here, white moves first, so all white can do is capture. So if white goes to my tracked piece, then it is dead, it's captured. Otherwise, it has not moved. Now black gets to move, so if black goes from my tracked piece, then my tracked piece ends up wherever it goes to. Otherwise, it stays where it is. And that's it. Now I've got my black piece tracked through this entire thing. This answer has to be like the white piece that captured it and when it captured it, right? So that is this and a dash, and the 2 is the location, right? So that, and then XLOOKUP cap on here. So whenever it gets captured, returning on there, but also it might not get captured, in which case it's an X. All right, done a lot so far. I should check to see if I'm actually doing this right. And I am. Everything's good so far. Now, level 6 is a piece of cake, right? Because my Lambda already covers castling. So all I really need is just this thing, right, from the previous, from level 4, because I'm just figuring out where the piece ends up, right? The only question I have left is what piece is it? It is the black king, right? So I got to make sure I'm doing the black king, and then the black king ends up there. That's the last one. I don't even have to filter out capture because kings can't get captured. All right, there's level 6. Now level 7 is still, I mean, it's the same as what we're doing before, right? So I gotta line up the whole thing first of all. So make sure it's lined up correctly, which it is now. And it's gonna take a second to calculate. I think it's gonna take a second to calculate. Yeah, there it is. Now, so if this equals white, then W and this, otherwise nothing, right? And if this equals black, then B and this, otherwise nothing, right? So now I'm tracking the correct piece. I can X2 call over this whole thing. But I got to clean it now to get rid of the arrows. And I do want to filter out the caps, but and I also have to filter out like the ones where it doesn't move, right? So now the answer, first one always counts. Then the second one is if we're done. So ifs, right? So ifs there's nothing left, then nothing. If it hasn't moved from the last time, then also nothing, right? Otherwise, this is now a new part of our answer, like this, right? And the other thing I got to do is not reverse it. So no more reverses, regular order. And then this has got to go down super far. This has got to go down twice as far as the number of moves, because that's based on half moves. And then if we concatenate this, I should have most, but not all of the answers. I don't have all the answers yet. And the reason why I don't have all the answers yet is because of rooks. Remember at the beginning when we made our Lambda, I assumed castling was only kings. But rooks get moved by castling too. So to get the correct answer for rooks, I have to change this table to the rook table. Right? So let me move this out of the way here. So rook goes H1 to F1, A1 to D1, H8 to F8, A8 to D8. Right? So now I should have my rook answers. If we've got this correct, this got deleted for some reason. Black, KP. Oh, because I moved this over. That's why. It didn't. I'm surprised it didn't. I guess I did. I guess I copied it instead of cutting it. All right, so now it's an AW to AX. AW to AX. AW to AX. AW to AX. So looking up this on AW, AW9 to 72, AW9 It's the other way around. AX to AW. AX to AW. AX to AW. All right, so now this is the moves if for rooks, right? So if it is not a rook, then it goes from the first one. If it is a rook, it comes to the second one. So if rightmost character of this is a rook, then you take it from the rook list. Otherwise, you take it from the no rook list. All right, and that's level 7. Okay, how many times has the knight move? Count substring, concat of all of this. The substring is in for knight.k. Most popular opening move in levels 4 to 7. I got to line up, so 7 is not lined up, so I got to line it up first. Ooh, all the way over. That's not all the way over. Down, over, over. No, it's not working. Sometimes keys don't want to do what you want them to. All right. Got to move X, that, to here to line them up. Now they're all lined up. So there's 4 to 7. And the frequency table will tell me the most common one, which is this. How many castling in all of these moves. So I put this and do Control-Shift-End. That gives me everything. Now I frequency table this. And I sort these with I'll put the zeros on top, right? If I do A to Z, add those together, and it's 1, 4, 6. 1, 4, 6. All right, bonus 4. How many queens are captured? I got to track 2 pieces at a time, which is exactly what my level 7 model does if I turn on both pieces, right? So the white queen and the black queen are both getting captured now, are both getting tracked now, but are they getting captured? Well, let's see. So I'm going to do equals exists on the whole white queen area, cap. So this will be a 1 if it got captured and a 0 if it doesn't, plus the same thing for the other one, right? So that's the number of white queens that were captured, and it's got to be the games, it's got to be the correct games, right? So it's got to be the games in level 4, which is sequence 20 rows starting with 61. And I got to make sure everything's lined up correctly because level 7 is not lined up the same as level 4. So it's got to go, probably doesn't need to be that long, but close enough. So now I've got it all lined up correctly. Add these together, look in the bar on the bottom of the screen, and it is 25. All right, and bonus 5, I'm also going to use a version of my level 7 model, right? So bonus 5, but I'm not going to be tracking individual pieces before. I'm going to be tracking every space on the chessboard, which luckily I already have started, right? So if I transpose this thing, this tells me for every space on the chessboard whether it's occupied or not. So if this equals 0, then 0, otherwise 1. So now I know if every space is occupied. And then for every move, you know, so you start with the previous one, right? Then plus if, like 4 if statements, right? So if this one here, right, with $sign on the J, so if that from equals this with the $sign on the row, right? Then that means -1, otherwise 0. Right, plus, because if you move from there, right, that means 1 less piece. If you move to, that's +1, this is +1, so J, K, M is -1, N is +1, sort of right, but I also have to clamp it. It cannot go, you can't have two, because it captures, right? You can't have, it's got to be clamped between 0 and 1. So it can never go under 0 or over 1. So now I can put this for every move of these that actually exists. This is a problem because it's not the right game. The game was 138, which is the longest game that goes all the way to the bottom, basically. Not these stuff, but everything else. All right, so now the sum of this tells me how many turns was that space occupied, right? And there's a lot of movement in this game. Everybody's moving on and off the different ones. So what is a space? There's one space where a pawn just kind of sits there the whole game. And if we do what big is, a pawn moves up to it on like the third move and then just sits there the whole game. And to find that, we look for the biggest on here, and we see that it is G3. It's this column right here. So G3, boom, boom. All right, thanks for watching. Bye. All right, here we go for a live attempt. Road to Las Vegas, Battle 3. King's Gambit. Oh, is it chess time? I think it might be chess time, everybody. Ooh, chess notation. Okay. So what do we got here? Starting positions. A to H. 1 to 8. K, Q, R, B, N, P. So like QR is Queen's Rook. And then it's like we go to the one space or go to the other space, right? So it's like Queen's Rook goes to that space. Figuring out like knight moves. I think I do have a knight move thing, don't I? I don't even know what I'm doing here. All right, let's see what happens. Do I have knight moves? Yeah, start cell, end cell. So knight moves from what is it, ref or string? B4. All right, time wise 2 minutes. These are strings, right? Yeah. There it takes to go from A2 to B5, takes 2 moves for the knight, right? So that would be nice if I could use my knight moves, Lambda, since I have that one ready. It's the only real chess related one. Long algebraic notation. Let's see. Long algebraic notation in chess. Coordinates, naming the squares, naming the pieces, C6 in place of Modern chess literature, figurine algebraic notation, right? But we don't do figurine, we do and notation for moves, F3, C3. Pawn can be omitted. If it's captured, use the X. Pawn makes capture the file from which pawn departed. So E takes D5. Although sometimes there could be two pawns on a file. Multiplication sign or a colon. It's unambiguous. Pawn capture. Abbreviated or minimal, which you're not doing. When two or more pieces can make the same move, it is the file of departure if they differ, the rank of the departure, both file and the rank of the departure, right? So 4 is queen h3 to f1 because it could be either, it can't be queen h to, could be either of these. All right, 10 seconds. This has got to be ready. This is going to be ready like this. All right, there's the file. King's Gambit. Here we go. What is the nth move? So white 5. Wrap rose. This by 2. White, black. Look up here and white. What piece was moved? It's always the first one, except it is the pawn, right? So it's always these, unless it is the pawn. Doing this manual's probably going to mess me up later, isn't it? Which piece sits on following square at the start of the game? Stick this here and make that an address lookup of the start board. Just interesting. Okay. W and this equals B and this. Now how are we doing here? Note that all the games have a different length. Where is the white queen by the end of the game or at the time that it is captured? Okay. So we're going to start by having the moves come out like this. To know how far to go. 60 half moves, right? So 30 is actually perfect. I want to know where the white queen is at the end of the game. So all that matters is either the last time it moves has got to be it, even if it gets captured, it has still moved, right? So is this a queen move? So is this a white queen move? So if equals if left of this is queen, then 1 otherwise 0. It's pretty freaking easy. And then the destination is what? Text split this by either a hyphen or an X. Tells me where they're going, right? So then these are the destinations of the queen. So I just got to find the last one, right? Equals X lookup of 1 on here, returning here, but going from the bottom. No, returning here, but going from the bottom like that. '66, the white queen never moved unless there's a queenside castle. Jeez. Are there queenside or is white doing queenside castles in this? So the white queen starts on D1, right? So if missing, give me a D1. I'm going to ignore castling queenside for now. Maybe I'll come back to that. Let's see how we're doing hint-wise here. No, these are wrong. So where does the white queen end up at the end of the game? The white queen moves to F4. So how is the white queen ending in column E? Okay. Queen moves have a Q prefix, so all things give away. Where is the white queen by the end of the game or at the time it was captured? The last recorded move of the white queen can be found. Oh man, I don't freaking get this. At the time it was captured, the white queen moves to F4. Where is the white queen by the end of the game or when it was captured? Do I have everything? Nope, I do not have everything. This is all, oh, this is super freaking wrong. To HL, it's not even close. All right, HL. There's a lot more than 30. So let's make it 300. That'll be plenty. J to L, 300. Make this go all the way down. Now I've hopefully got answers that match the hints. EEF, good. All right, so now EEF, this matches the hints also, good. All right, level 5. Simplicity of this task, we only care about what type of chess piece did the capturing. All games have different length. What piece is responsible for capturing the black queen and where? Okay. So I've got the entire freaking game here, first of all, starting in the correct location. Yes, yes I do. And I'm going down plenty far enough for this. So I'm going to start with the black queen move, because I need to keep track of the black queen's location. So black queen after this move, right? And the black queen starts on D8. Right, so, oh, and I need to pull it apart. Black, this is black's move. Not white's move, but black's move. Right, so black's move ends on D8. So is it a queen move? So if this equals 0, then the queen stays in the same place. Otherwise, the queen is now in the destination. Right? So that is the queen's location after black's move. Now, white moves before black every time. So where is queen before white move, right? Is this one, right? So that's where the queen is before the white move. So then if the white move ends, so this is the white move, right? I'm going to text split. White's move now. Right? So now I need to know is, so capture the black queen is if this equals where the queen was before, right? And then I look up that and I get, you know, Q dash E5. So if this equals true, then the left of this and a hyphen and this, right? Otherwise, freaking nothing. And then the answer is the first of these, so X to call of this. but without the addresses, of course. Multiple possibilities, and this one says never, 83, which is kind of a bad thing, right? So the black queen ends up, when is the black queen moving? There's a black queen move. There's a black queen move. There's a black queen move. So what if it never happens? If the queen is not captured, answer X. All right. And X is a possibility, right? So that's 5. King moves, and there's castling, of course. Where is black's king at the end of the game? Okay. So I do, some of this, and I got to double check that all the moves are in the right freaking place, right? Yes. And then, these are white's moves and black's moves. Clean this up a little bit. Black's move, yeah, because of the castle king side, right? Okay. So the castle I've got a handle for black. Right, this is good. This I could hopefully use in level 7 also, although we'll see. I peek at level 7. Trace the complete path of the specified piece. All right. Probably. It's fine. All right. So ifs this equals OO is castle king side, then the king move is KE1 to G1. If I34 is O-O-O, then it is castle queen side, which is equivalent to KE1-C1. Otherwise, we go to the algebraic move. All right, so now is these are what, zeros and not O's, right? Zero dash zero, and I've got to split it also, right? So can make it an array constant, I think, like this. So now the king is moving to C1. But that's not right. It's C8, not C1, obviously, for the black king. Where is the black king at the end of the game, right? King can't teleport all the way over. All right, so black king is if left of this equals k, then 1, otherwise 0. So if it's a king, then that. If I34, if left of I34 is 0, then it's a castle, so that also counts. Otherwise, it's not. King's starting position is E8. Then the new one, otherwise that. And it's just the freaking end of this, right? There's level 6. How many times has a knight been moved across all level 1 games? So that's just count substring of this whole freaking thing. Most popular opening move across levels 4 to 7. First move by white pieces across levels 4 to 7. Across levels 4 to 6, and then 4 to 7 is here. Read that to make sure that's right. Provide the full new according to long algebraic notation. Yes, how many castling moves have been made across all 4 to 7 games? All of 4 to 7 games. Go way, way out here. Frequency table. One, 4, 6 is the number of castling moves. How many queens have been captured across all level 4 games, white and black? That's tricky. What board is occupied? All right, get back to those. Got to do level 7. Okay, the specified piece from its starting square to the end of the game. Concatenate with no delimiter. All right, this should be doable. All right, so this has got to start at the game start and go to the end of the game, which it does. So black's moves, and these are white's moves. I'm going to ignore castling given the time left. So the start, I'm going to guess everything's got to go based on the start and the end, right? Start chord, end chord. So is if this equals black, then this, otherwise this, then the starting coordinate is based on whether the first one is a capital or not. So if left of this, so if exact left of this is upper left of this, then mid 034 299, otherwise 034. Getting rid of the capital letter, right? So the start now is based on this, so it is x to call of this. The left of this and this on here, returning here, is the start. So if this equals this, then it changes to this, otherwise it stays on this. Right, so now I do the set. Now I need the order of this. I need them in order. Unique of these, right? It's too many though, isn't it? E7, E6. How is the same piece getting moved so much? It can't be, right? It's got to be if Q34 equals S33. So the piece I care about is on F5 now. Like, why does it keep moving it every time? Like, this is moving a king. E6. I mean, I feel like this is on the right track. All right, let's look at 121, for example. I still want to see what I'm doing wrong. Is it because it's because it got promoted? Yeah, it got promoted. Another freaking piece took it. Like, whatever. Okay, I got it. So castling, promotions, getting taken and getting taken over, like I'm not handling, right? Because it could get taken and then another piece freaking takes it and moves it, right? Is it possible to do a bonus here? So that's, I mean, it's not a perfect solution, but hopefully some of them are right. It will not fit either of the examples, though. How many queens have been captured across the level 4 games? Was it a capture at the end? I mean, do I know if it was a captured? Man, that's tough. How many queens? Let's say 6 of them. Wild guess. What board square is occupied the most often? It's going to be what? The place where you move your pawn to, right? Is E4, right? Where that guy moves his pawn to is E4. That's going to get occupied a lot, right? All right. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.